Hey y'all, it's your girl Michaela Janae here, back with another video, and in today's video we're going to be making a authentic Cajun meatball stew. Now I will say that this meatball stew is missing potatoes, but that's just because I did not run to the grocery store. But make sure you guys pick you up some russet potatoes to throw in here. The eggs are optional, but everything else is a necessity. So when it comes to your meatballs, you can make them from scratch or you can go buy them from somewhere, but I always recommend using a beef and pork mixture because you want that, porky flavor in with your meatballs. It keeps them more moist, juicy meatballs. Love that. I like to have a lot of meatballs in my meatball stew, so you want at least 10 for sure. So first I'm going to start off by browning my meatballs. You want them good and brown, but you don't want to completely cook them, because as you cook the gravy for a long period of time, you don't want them to get tough. So I'm just going to get a good sear on them. Of course, I have them in my Magnolite pot. That's essential for Cajun cooking, but if you don't have it, a good cast iron is going to do the job too. So after we brown up those meatballs, I'm going to go ahead, add in a little bit more butter, and I'm going to put my holy trinity in the pot, which is onions, celery, bell peppers, and of course you add in the pulp, which is garlic. Can't go wrong with garlic. I'm going to add that in. My veggies are frozen, so it's going to add a little bit of water to the bottom of the pot to get up all the little, I don't know what they call it, the creamy, I don't even know what to call it, the little extra bits at the bottom of the pot. Now you see me adding in that garlic like I stated earlier. We're going to stir that up until it is time to put in our roux. Of course, you can make your roux from scratch, but today I'm going to be using jar roux. Nothing is wrong with a good jar roux. You just want to make sure your roux that you're using for your smothered meatballs is dark. So you add in, a little bit of roux at a time to make it the thickness that you'd like. I like my meatball stew a little bit on the thicker side, so this is the amount of roux I'm adding right now, but I probably will go back in and add some more roux later. So I'm just going to break that up, and then you can begin to add in your water and or chicken or beef broth, whatever you have a taste for at the time, or whatever you have will work. So I'm just going to mix that in, make sure all my roux is dissolved, and I just gradually add more roux and water as I go. I like to let everything really combine and marry before I go in and start to season. But when I do season, it's just going to be my Cajun seasoning, onion powder, garlic powder, salt, pepper. Keep it real simple, but you want to make sure it is seasoned, okay? This is some Cajun rice and gravy. Do not be afraid to use a little cayenne, a little red pepper flake to get the spices you need. Now you see me adding in the rest of my chicken broth right there. But this is really an easy meal. It doesn't take a lot of things at all. You're boiling the eggs separate, you're cooking the rice, but it's just so easy to do. You really cannot go wrong with it. It just takes a long time for it to cook and marry. I like to have my meatball stew cooking at least for a couple hours. You want it to thicken up as thick as you like it. You might want a 40 weight gravy, a 50 weight, maybe just a 30 weight. If you know. But the longer you let it cook, the more it's going to cook down, the thicker it'll get. Everything is going to be nice and all, like I said, married together. Now I'm going to put in my Worcestershire sauce. I like adding that a lot to my brown gravies because it adds a nice little flavor. And then we're just going to continue to let that cook. You're going to add back in your eggs and your meatballs close to the end because you don't want your meatballs to get tough, like I said before. And then once the meatballs are in, I probably cook it for maybe 15 to 20 more minutes, and then it is done. I plated this up over rice, added some corn, honey, and it was good. We tore it up as a family. I low-key want to remake this again right now because this was a few weeks ago, and now it's time for another meatball stew. It's time. So I hope y'all enjoyed this recipe. Let me know if you plan to make it for your family or have you made it before. Meatball stew is one of the easiest meals and great for people who are just learning how to cook because it's not too complicated. You can't really go wrong and mess it up, especially if you use a jar roux and things like that. Use your rice cooker. It should be a great starter meal. So I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Mwah!